सर नमस्कार सर शिक्षा क्लास है सर Good morning. Let's start the daily development discussion. The first topic, the SRAS scheme, role of scholarship and financial aid in reducing educational gap in India. Because in India, there is a big gap in education. Okay, so two continuing central sector schemes for OBC, other backward classes, and the EBC, economical intersections, have been proposed to be used in the conjunction with the scholarship for higher education, the young achievers scheme, SRAS, we implemented from 21 to 26. These programs are the Ambedkar Central Sector Scheme of Interest Subsidy and Educational Loans for other overseas studies for the OBC and economically backward classes, as well as National Scholarship for the OBC. ECB stands for economically backward classes. So, what is the SRAS scheme? The primary goal of this program is to empower OBC and EBC students to pursue higher education by providing fellowship or financial aid for high quality university education and interest free loans. Okay. The primary goal of the program is to empower OBC and ECB students to pursue higher education by providing fellowship and financial aid for high quality university education and interest-free loan for study abroad. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment is the notice ministry. So, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India. Vital elements: National OBC Students Fellowship. About the goal is to give financial support to OBC students who want to go to college and earn degrees, MPhil and PhD in a variety of reputable research and scientific institutes and universities abroad. The program provides 1,000 junior teachers fellowship for post-graduation, postgraduate research and studies each year. Students who have met the eligibility requirement through tests such as UGC NET, UGC CSR, NET JRF, joint test are given this fellowship. Important aspect: funding is given by the National Backward Class Finance and Development Corporation, Government of India undertaking that is provided by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Together with contingency, the fellowship rate are set rupees at 31,000 for JRF and 32,000 for the SRF, Senior Research Fellow. This is the Junior Research Fellow per month. Seat reserved for students with disability and extra seats beyond government quota are also set aside. The nodal agency for carrying out the plan is the EGC. The Ambedkar scheme provides interest subsidy on provision and the economically backward classes on educational loans for overseas studies. Its goal is to give interest subsidy on students' loan to OBC and EBC who are enrolled in Masters, MPhil and PhD program approved overseas. The program, which is run by the Canara Bank, is applicable to post-secondary education overseas and is connected to the current educational loan program. For OBC candidates, eligibility requirements includes income restrictions based on the creamy layer criteria. For EBC candidates, the income cap is 5 lakh annual. Okay. Okay. For OBC candidates, eligibility requirement includes income restrictions based on the creamy layer criteria. For economically backward classes, candidate the income cap is 5 lakhs annual per annum. Women candidates are eligible to receive 50% of the funding during the moratorium period. The government will pay 100% of the interest. After that, the student will be responsible for paying the loan. What are the other schemes related to education in India? National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, PM City Schools, Pradhan Mantri schools for rising India, National Means from Merit Scholarship, Swachh Vidyalaya Abhijan, Eklavya Model School for the tribals. The Shreyas scheme stands as a beacon of hope for Indian students seeking to enhance their employability, skill and transition smoothly from education to the workforce. With its well-defined objectives and collaboration between ministry and innovative implementation track, it promises to shape a brighter future for Indian youth. Then the next is regarding plastic pollution by 2040, degradation and pollution of the environment. Recently, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD) has released the interim report titled "Towards Eliminating Plastic Pollution by 2040," a policy scenario analysis ahead of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee on Plastic Pollution. In November 2023, the Nairobi, Kenya will host the Intergovernmental Committee meeting (INC3), which aims to reach a legally binding global agreement on plastic pollution. INC2 took place earlier in June 23 at Paris in France. A preliminary or partial report that is released prior to the completion of a full or final report is referred to as an interim report. It is a document that provides preliminary research, analysis, and development on a specific topic or undertaking. Which aspect of the report stand out the most? Present situation: 21 million tons of plastic spilled into the environment worldwide in 2020. 21 million tons. In the event that nothing noteworthy were to change, the amount of plastic used would rise, leading to 50% increase in mass microplastic leakage by 2040. This could imply that about 30 metric ton of plastic would seep into the environment, in which 9 metric ton would end up in aquatic area. Projections of scenarios: there could be still a considerable amount of plastic leakage, 12 metric ton by 2040, even if primary plastics used were stabilized. Okay. So effect of growing plastic consumption. The increasing use of disposal of plastic would worsen the already serious efforts of plastic pollution on human health, the environment, habitat destruction, soil contamination, and the climate, contributing to greenhouse gas emissions. Among the many life cycle effects that plastics produce, 38% of the world total greenhouse gas emission, about 19.2 giga in 2022, are caused by plastics. Cost of action: global emission combined with early, strict, and coordinated policy action would reduce the green generation of plastic waste by 28% below baseline by 2030. By 2040, mismanaged waste would be almost completely eliminated from 119 to 4 metric ton, which would be almost completely eliminated plastic leakage, 1.2 metric ton by 2040. And the 74 metric ton less than the baseline, plastic stocks in rivers and oceans would still increase from 152 metric ton in 2022 to 26 metric tons in 2040. The cost of this aggressive international initiative to combat plastic pollution by 2040 could equal 0.5% of the world's GDP. These costs, however, must be considered in light of significantly better environmental outcomes because they do not include the avoided cost of inaction. Financial needs: the collection, sorting, and treatment of waste will require large investment of USD 1 trillion in fast-growing nations with less developed waste management system between 2020 and 2040. Because of the unusual cost distribution, international cooperation is considered essential. Suggested actions: different policy scenarios are required, highlighting the need for an all-encompassing strategy to address plastic pollution at every stage of the life cycle. Because so human life is becoming more and more addicted to plastic. So from morning to night, so we are completely dependent on plastic, and this plastic is causing huge pollution, which is leading to large-scale degradation of environment and ecological blunder. And if this is not stopped or checked, this will continue, and this will create much problem in future, and our life will be miserable. So, in order to eradicate plastic leakage by 2040, it is important to surmount both technical and financial obstacles. Innovations, recycling, and expanding healthy global market for secondary and scrap plastics are vital tactics. The Intergovernmental Negotiation Committee (INC), what it is? So, it is the at the fifth session of the United Nations Environment Assembly, that February 22, the INC was just founded. The UN Environment Program is governed by the UNEA with the goal of including the negotiations by the end of 2024. Historic resolution was adopted to develop an international legally binding instrument on plastic pollution, including in the marine environment. Uruguay hosted the INC 1 inaugural meeting in 2022. Okay, a major worldwide environmental problem that adversely affects the environmental, social, economic, and health aspect of sustainable development, the quickly rising level of plastic pollution around the world. The amount of plastic waste that enters aquatic ecosystem could almost triple by 2040 from 4 to 9, 14 million, 9 to 14 million tons annually in 2016 to 20 to 37 million tons annually if appropriate intensive interventions are not taken in time. In order to support the goal of legally binding agreement, nation will be required to create, carry out, and maintain national action plan that represents national driven strategies. They will be expected to support regional and global cooperation because it's not only a regional issue, it's a global issue. So first regional cooperation, then global cooperation are the need of the hour to overcome this particular issue. Okay. So, in order to support the goal of globally binding agreement, nations should be required to create, carry out, and maintain national assembly that represents nation-driven strategy. First, it should start each and every member country or every country of the world. That is called the nationally driven plan. Okay, nation-driven strategy. They will be expected to support regional and global cooperation and advance national action plan aimed at preventing, reducing, and eliminating plastic pollution. What programs are in place to address the plastic pollution issue? Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rule 2022 extended producer responsibility, that means after the time it is over, producer will take the responsibility for disposing it. National Dashboard on Elimination of Single-Use Plastics and Plastic Waste Management, Indian Plastic Pact and Project Reclaim. Okay, are the program by the Government of India to take care of the plastic pollution in the country. Global European Union's Directive on Single-Use Plastics, closing the loop, the Global Tourism Plastic Initiative. So, given the systematic nature of plastic pollution, global and coordinated action is needed across the plastic life cycle to drive real system change. The establishment of common global rules through the international legally binding instrument presents a unique opportunity to make this a reality. This report showed that implementing 15 for reaching policy interventions could take a long way in the journey towards ending plastic pollution by 2040. Then the SATHI, the National Institute of Transforming Human Capital in Education, Niti Aayog, released a study on the sustainable action of transforming human capital in education. SATHI, Sustainable Action for Transforming Human Capital in Education. Okay. SATHI, or Sustainable Action for Transforming Human Capital in Education, was started in 2017 with the goal of identifying and developing three role models states for the school education sector. Jharkhand, Odisha, and Madhya Pradesh were chosen after an extensive selection process. The first phase of the SAT-E was completed in March 2020. Significant strides were made in learning enhancement programs, remediation, governance reforms, teacher training, recruitment, assessment and accountability, school consolidation, IT and monitoring, of schools, coaching of academic coordinators, okay, BRC, okay, and among others. Based on the request received from all the three states governments, the second phase of the project SAT-E 2.0 was commenced by India for 2 years from October 2022 till 2022. Okay, exercise Mitra Shakti 2023. The joint military exercise Mitra Shakti is being conducted from 16 to 20 November 2023 in Aundh in Pune, Maharashtra. The joint military exercise between India and Sri Lankan Army. This year it is the ninth edition of the exercise. So this Mitra Shakti is a joint military exercise between Indian and Sri Lankan Army. Okay. So the Indian contingent is 120 personnel is being presented by the troop from the Maratha Light Infantry Regiment. Personnel from Indian Air Force and from Sri Lankan Air Force are also participating in the exercise, which make the ninth Mitra Shakti and the first bilateral and by-service exercise between the two countries, because the Army and the Air Force both are participating. The aim of the exercise is to jointly rehearse conduct of the sub-conventional operation under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. Okay, so the scope of the exercise includes synergizing joint response during counter-terrorist operation. In addition, Army martial art routine, Amar, combat reflex shooting and yoga will also be form part of the exercise curriculum. It will also involve employment of drones and counter unmanned aerial system besides helicopters, drill to secure helipad and unprotected casualty evacuation during counter-terrorist operation will also be rehearsed jointly by both the sides. Collective efforts will focus on achieving an enhanced level of interoperability among the troops and reduce the risk of life and property while keeping the interest and agenda of the event at the forefront during peacekeeping operations. The exercise will also foster strong bilateral relations with the two neighboring nations. Then the WAPS 10107b, NASA's James Webb Telescope recently discovered a new exoplanets named the WAPS 107b, which is the site of Jupiter. What about the new one? It is a newly discovered exoplanets situated 200 light years away in the Virgo constellation. The mass of the WAPS 107B is 30.5 Earth, and it takes only 6 days to orbit its own home star, which is slightly cooler and less massive than our Sun. It shares Jupiter size but possesses the mass of Neptune, making it less dense than other gas giants. The planet's low density allowed astronomers to look 50 times deeper into the atmosphere of the planet compared to observations achieved for more dense planets like the Jupiter. The exoplanet is scorching hot with an outer atmosphere that is more than 900 degree Fahrenheit. Sand rain, Vapas 107, B exhibit a water cycle akin to Earth but with other peculiar differences. Instead of water droplets, the planets experience sand rains. The falling giants are in fact silicate vapors rising from lower atmospheric layers. Similar to Earth's water cycle, these sand clouds precipitate back to lower planetary atmospheric level. In addition to the silicate clouds, scientists have identified water vapor and sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere of WAPS 107b. Then the sickle cell anemia is a major disease. United Kingdom's drug regulator recently approved the world's first gene therapy treatment for the sickle cell disease and the thalassemia. About the sickle cell disease, it is an inherited blood disorder. It may marked by flawed hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, the molecule in red blood cell that carries oxygen to the tissue of the body. People with this disease have atypical hemoglobin molecules called the hemoglobin S, which can desert RBC into a sickle or crescent cell. That sickle cell disease interferes with the delivery of oxygen to the tissue because this particular hemoglobin size it put restrictions or put obstructions on the path of free movement. How does it affect the blood flow? Normally, RBC are disc and flexible enough to move easily through the blood vessels. In sickle cell disease, the RBCs become crescents or sickle set due to a genetic mutation. These sickle RBCs do not bend to make easily and can block blood flow to the rest of the body. What causes it? The cause of sickle cell disease is a defective gene called a sickle cell gene. A person will be born with sickle cell disease only two genes are inherited, one of them the mother and one from the father. Symptoms: early stage, extreme tiredness or fuginess from anemia, painful swollen hands and feet, and jaundice. Later stage, severe pain, anemia, organ damage, and infections. Treatment: a bone marrow transplant, stem cell transplant can cure sickle cell disease. However, there are treatments that can help relieve symptoms, lessen complications, and prolong life. Gene therapy is also being explored as another potential cure. The UK recently became the first country to approve gene therapy treatment for sickle cell disease. Then the Mars solar conjunction. Recently, NASA announced that it will stop sending commands to split up robotic probes on or orbiting the tired red planet Mars due to Mars solar conjunction. Okay. So it could corrupt, reduce. So recently, NASA. Okay. It is a phenomenon which occurs when the sun will be in between Earth and the Mars. During this time, the sun expels hot ionized gas from its corona. It could corrupt radio signals sent from Earth to Mars, and this could also cause unexpected behavior from the spacecraft on Mars. It happens once every 2 years. This year it is occurring between November 11 to November 25th. So then the agroland geologists recently discovered agroland in landmass that detached from modern day Western Australia 155 million years ago. It is a lost continent that core that once broke off from northwestern Australia 150 million years ago. The elusive 330,106 mile stretch was once an integral part of the supercontinent Gondwana land. Distributed as the tectonic forces stretched and landmass out and drove it away from the rest of the continent before scattering it across the Southeast Asia. It has initially drifted northward where several Southeast Asian islands currently exist today. But unlike India, which broke off the ancient supercontinent Gondwana 120 million years ago and still forms an inert landmass today, the agroland splinters into fragments. These fragments, reaching their destinations simultaneously, form an archipelago rather than a unified landmass. Agroland, now dispersed as an agropelago separated by ocean basins, contributed to the formation of several Southeast Asian islands. Key facts about the Gondwana. Gondwana used to be a supercontinent from around 550 million years ago to approximately 180 million years ago, alongside the Laurasia. The continent eventually split into the landmass we recognize today: Africa, South America, Australia, Antarctica, the Indian subcontinent, and the Arabian Peninsula. Then the next is the question. The Delhi government intend to use cloud seeding to create rain in the midst of pollution. Describe how cloud seeding works. Talk about the use and difficulty of cloud seeding as well. The government of Delhi declared that it would start using artificial rain or cloud seeding to remove air pollution in the national capital. It's a novel way to deal with the capital's air quality index issues, which has crossed much limit after the Diwali. Method of modifying the weather to increase precipitation is called cloud shedding, which involves releasing materials to the atmosphere to help saturate the clouds. So mechanism, the procedure begins with the identification of suitable clouds using aircraft to generate a generator based on the ground through weather analysis. Shading agents are then released into the selected clouds. More rainfall results from the shading particles, assistance in the formation of large water droplets. In order to start cloud shading seed, the solid carbon dioxide, salt like potassium, sodium, and silver iodine injected into the cloud in order to provide more nuclei around which more cloud droplet can form. These salts are dispersed in the atmosphere, or especially on the clouds. Technique for cloud shading, hydroscopic cloud shading. The technique uses explosives or flares to scatter salt into the lower layers of the cloud. After the dispersal of the salt enlarged, table salt is typically used in this technique. Research from nations like South Africa and Mexico have shown that hydroscopic cloud shading works. Static cloud shedding in 2010, infrared light are directed at Berlin's atmosphere by University of Geneva researchers. The result of this experiment demonstrated that infrared can assist atmospheric sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide in forming sheets like particles that result in rainfall. Utilizing salt, known as the most popular technique, chemical like dry ice, potassium iodine, and silver iodine are dispersed via aircraft or by dispersion devices that are situated on the ground. Cloud seeding applications include agriculture. It contributes to precipitation which can alleviate drought conditions in affected area. For instance, the Karnataka government introduced Project Varshadhari in 2017, which involves spraying chemicals from an aircraft to create rainfall. Power generation for the last 40 years that Samnia, Australia demonstrated that the cloud seeding technique increased electricity production. Then control of water pollution. Cloud seeding is a technique that can reduce the effect of treated wastewater discharged from industry while preserving the minimum river flow. Fog disposal and cyclone modification. The US initiated Project Skywater in 1962 with the goal of reducing fog, suppressing hail, and altering cyclones. And combat air pollution, toxic air pollutant can be lowered by using the cloud seeding techniques through the rain. Difficulties in the cloud seeding, side effects, plant, animals, humans, and even the environment may be harmed by the chemical used in the cloud seeding because the sprayed item may have negative impact on those elements. Unusual weather patterns. This could result in modification to climate pattern. For example, area that normally get rain could encounter dry spells because of man-made chemical addition to the atmosphere intended to encourage precipitation. High-cost cloud shedding entails the expenses and logistically complex process of distributing chemicals to the sky using aircraft or flare suits, which is expensive. Pollution, even cloud shedding begins, salt, dry ice, or silver iodine are among the shedding agents that fall as rain. It is thought to be toxic residual silver that has been found close to cloud shedding operations. So they are not environmental good also. Several nations, including Mexico, the US, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, use cloud shedding to create rain, enhance air quality, and irrigate crops during dry spells. Cloud shedding has only been attempted to address drought-like condition in India so far. It has not been used to reduce pollution. Only with the local atmosphere's moisture content satisfy the necessary requirement and the meteorological conditions are favorable, then cloud shedding be carried out to achieve the desired results. So Delhi government decision is no doubt a compulsion, but it's both positive and negative impact should be properly analyzed before making it a feature. Then coming to the MCQs, first the pollution statement regarding the agro-land recently seen in news. Like India, it was once an integral part of the supercontinent Gondwana. Okay, right. It contributed to the formation of several Southeast Asian islands. So both are right here. So with a reference to the sickle cell disease, it is hereditary in nature. So it is and it restricts the formation of white blood cells. There is a currently no cure for sickle cell disease. Only so how many are correct? Only it is a hereditary one is correct. Okay. So वापस 107B is it's a newly discovered exoplanets in the Vigino constellation C. Then exercise Mitra Shakti was with India and Sri Lanka. Okay, where the Air Force and the Army both are participating this year. Then comes to the following statement about the Mars solar conjunction. It is a phenomenon which occurs when the Sun will be in between Earth and the Mars. So right? It happens once in every 2 years. That is also right. So incorrect means none is incorrect. So answer will be D because both are correct options here. With reference to the Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, consider the following statement. In 2021, the Indian government officially proclaimed 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, commemorating the value of tribal women fighters. That's right. The date of the anniversary, Rani Godinlu, who is revered as the Bhagwan by tribal community, across the only one is correct. Rest of the following statement regarding the National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization. NOTO is set up under the Directorate General of Health Services, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, located in New Delhi. NOTO National Network Division oversees all activities related to organ and tissue donation and transportation transplantation service at the central hub of procurement, distribution, and registry nationwide. So seven, so both are not correct. Both are being correct. So answer will be D because both options are correct. Across the pollution statement, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, arsenic, nickel. How many of these above pollutants are currently being assessed by Indian National Ambient Air Quality Standards? Okay. So here three are assessed. So it is arsenic is not. So okay taken into consideration. With respect to Bonny Bill, the Legislative Assembly of the state holds supreme power. Legislative Assembly, okay. Legislative Council is less powerful in making law than the state Legislative Assembly. So here both 1 and 2 are correct. Regarding river Jamuna, because of the pollution treatment, it originates from the Jamunotri glacier near the Mandri Post Creek in the Masudi range. So that is correct. Chambal is one of the important tributary of Jamuna. So it is also correct. So both here 1 and 2 are correct.